10 and Under is back, and this time we're with $5. Yes, we only have $5 to play with today. So guys, please, I hope your expectations aren't too wild, because in this current market, $5 is not a lot of money to play with. Now, before any of you in the comments ask what's going on with my eye, yes, I do have a sty, unfortunately, in my eye right here. So it is quite painful, but I'm going to be away for the next few days, and I really wanted to get a video out while I'm away. So I'm filming this today despite having a bad eye. So guys, please bear with the eye. It is painful, but it is what it is. Now, for those of you that have been here for a while, you know what the rules are. But for those of you that are new, it's simply 10 of my favorite cards that I've found or I have in my collection under a certain price, this time $5, that I believe are very beautiful cards and would be fantastic additions to your collection, but also have the potential to rise in the future. Coming in at number 10, we have Hoothoot from Astral Radiance's Trainer Gallery. Now, to start with, Astral Radiance, I believe, is a bit of a sleeper set from the Sword and Shield era. I think it's a bit slept on, as there's a lot of other good sets with Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, etc. And I think Astral Radiance just hasn't quite got its flowers yet, but it does contain a lot of good cards. And here in front of us, we have one from the Trainer Gallery being Hoothoot. And the level of tranquility and peace that this card gives me is astronomical. Look at that. Look at that Hoothoot there chilling behind its, I don't know, owner, I assume, just chilling there, kind of meditating on top of a mountain peak. It's very, very beautiful, and I love the art style of this card. As you can see, very cheap card, really cheap, only $2.50. Probably not going to rise much in the future, to be honest. Maybe a $5, $10 card in the future, but it's not going to go crazy, guys. As I said, we've only got $5 to play with here. We're not going to find the most crazy cards that are going to boom. So, and also, guys, if you want this card with the grey border, is of course now we have the grey borders, which I believe are better looking. If you get this card in Japanese, you'll find it with the grey border. In general, beautiful looking card and a fantastic addition to your collection. Now, coming in at number 9, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, Kingdra, and this again from the Astral Radiance Trainer Gallery. A strong set, as I said the previous with Hoothoot. It really is a good set and a sleeper one. I do think it will get its flowers one day. And again, we have another beautiful card from the Trainer Gallery. So Kingdra right now actually in a bit of the limelight with the Kingdra EX with that Shrouded Fable kind of collection box. Of course, you get the promo Kingdra EX card inside, and that's kind of took off alongside the Greninja card if you weren't aware. So Kingdra at the minute, quite a sought after Pokemon in some way. And this one is on the rise, as you can see. For the turn of the new year, was only a $2.40 card and has risen all the way up to nearly $5. I think it will continue in that same vein. I think it will be a $10 card one day, maybe even 15, depends how much Astral Radiance as a set takes off. As I said, I think it's a sleeper set. I think it will get its flowers one day. It's better than what it's kind of perceived to be right now. This is a very beautiful card. Look at it there. I love the colors. Of course, you've got Claire, the dragon gym leader, the final gym leader from the second generation, clinging onto the neck of a Kingdra there. Beautiful card. I really do like it, and a fantastic addition to your collection. Before we move on to the next card, guys, as per usual, I just want to say a huge thank you for the continued support. The channel continues to roll. It continues to grow. It's very overwhelming, but I'm extremely grateful. So for those of you that are new and you do like the sound of a new TCG video every other day, feel free to click that subscribe button, and if you are enjoying the video, hit that like button, as it massively helps me out. Now, moving over to Scarlet and Violet, we have a card from the Stellar Crown set, so not too old, from last year to be precise, an illustration rare in Ledian. Now, when Stellar Crown was first being leaked, as we know, bit by bit we get illustration rares here and there. When obviously the Japanese set gets kind of leaked in some way, because that comes out before the English set. And when I seen this card, I really did like it. I thought it was a beautiful looking card. I love the colors. I love the art style of it. Ledian as well, being from the earlier generations, I have some kind of love towards it. I love the earlier generation cards. And I love how it's kind of nighttime, Ledian flying elegantly with the light kind of shining behind it in its trail. I really do like it. Beautiful looking card, right? And again, on the rise since the new year, as you can see, was only a $2.30 card at start of January and has risen to over $4 now we're in February. And I think it will continue in that same vein. Stellar Crown is a fairly strong set, to be fair, and it's still rather new, so give it time, give it a year or two, and I think this card, this Ledian card with the illustration rares also being quite sought after right now. Strong card, and I think it will continue in that same vein and could easily be a $10, $15 card in the future. And again, just a fantastic addition to your collection. Moving on to number 7, one of my favorite evolution lines from Generation 3 is, of course, Vibrava here being the middle evolution between Trapinch and Flygon being the final evolution. We all love a dragon Pokemon, right? And of course, that is what this evolution line is about. This being an illustration rare from the Surging Spark set. Again, a very new set. Hasn't properly had time to settle yet. Probably will get reprint down the line. Therefore, card prices could stagnate along with the prices of the sealed products. But this Vibrava card is one I've recently picked up and added to my collection before prices start to go crazy, as illustration rares in general across Scarlet and Violet are starting to pick up. People are starting to appreciate the beauty of the card. So Vibrava here, as you can see, was up and down for quite a few months, and recently in the latter part of January and early February has really taken off. It was under $2 at one point, as you can see, $1.67 there in the latter part of December, and has now reached $3.60 and continues to grow. For me, quite easily, it's quite a decent card, quite a beautiful looking card, and a decent Pokemon at that from a strong evolution line. Therefore, will have a decent level of desirability. Give it time, give it a year or two. $10 or $15 card in my opinion, and just in general a fantastic addition to your collection. Moving on to number 6, guys, we're almost halfway through now, and we move on to Cutiefly. Now, admittedly not the most desirable Pokemon, I get that, but I'm a big fan of the art style here, and as you can see, it's quite a realistic art style, and it reminds me a lot of this card right here, which is the Vivillon from Surging Sparks. Now, also another card under $5, so you know what, we'll throw in a bonus card, we'll add it to the list. Villain will also get a mention in my list. So, and you know what? My number 2 is actually, technically I'm cheating a little bit, because when I did this list, when I planned for it, the card was under $5 and it's just moved above $5 now I'm recording, unfortunately. So if you're not happy with how I've done it, you know what? Forget it. Forget number 2 and we'll throw in this as a bonus card. Anyway, as you can see, the point being comparing the art styles, Villain being a very realistic kind of looking art style. It's not like a painting of any sort. It doesn't look like a computerized image. It almost looks like someone's taking a picture of it in the wild, which I like a lot. I'm a big fan of that. And Cutiefly is also a similar art style. Now, very beautiful, a group of Cutieflies drinking water from the fountain. And as you can see, from Temporal Forces, which in my opinion is one of the strongest sets from the Scarlet and Violet era, and has started to get its flowers recently, which I think it deserves. And it's probably not going to get a reprint. It's probably a bit far away now from getting reprints. They're probably going to focus on printing Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks, Prismatic Evolution, and the other sets to come in the future instead of Temporal Forces. So we're probably safe there. And as you can see, it's rising nicely. Was only $2 back in November, has almost doubled in price, and has reached almost $4. So in general, strong looking card. I really like it. I've picked it up for my collection and I recommend you guys do too. Moving on to number 5, we have one of the worst enemies from Gen 2. If you know, you know. If you were around in those times and you played Silver, Gold or Crystal, you will know that Miltank was a bit of an obstacle, to say the least, right, with its rollout. But here we have a reason to celebrate Miltank, as we have a very beautiful card here. Miltank in its element there, with what looks like a very dairy oriented kind of picnic in front of the barn. This is a fantastic autumn themed card, right? And actually, you know what? The yellow border goes perfectly with the theme of this card. It actually helps it in this sense. Although I prefer the grey borders, I like on this card the yellow border. And it's a beautiful card, right? It really is a very, very beautiful card. And if you like to create sort of binders with themes for the certain seasons, like summery cards or wintry cards, the ice Pokemon are very good for that. You can have an autumn card here with Miltank. Beautiful card, right? And it's really picked up lately. As you can see, risen by over 119%. At its lowest was only $1.30, more than doubled, and reached a high of over $3, come down a bit in the last few days, but still sitting at around $3, $2.80 right now. This, of course, from a very, very, very strong set in Crown Zenith. I love the Galarian Gallery from Crown Zenith, and I just love the set in general. Crown Zenith is, for me, is a set that's going to go down really, really well in the history books of all-time Pokemon sets. I think it's going to age really well. I think we'll see prices of both sealed product and cards from the set rise quite rapidly over the next few years, as Crown Zenith is probably not being printed anymore. So, guys, I do think Miltank's a fantastic pickup, along with a plethora of other cards from that set. I highly recommend a lot of them, but here we're going to showcase Miltank, as it is under $5 still, and could quite easily rise to $10 in the next few years. Moving on to number 4, and when I looked at Vibrava, I said, one of my favorite evolution lines from Generation 3, why not look at another of mine, that being the Aron, Lairon, and Aggron evolution line, which I'm a huge fan of. Aggron was just an absolute beast back in those Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald days. I really did love Aggron. He was always part of my team. And why not celebrate another middle evolution, just like we did with Vibrava? Let's look at Lairon. And I love this card. Lairon looking very mischievous, stealing what I assume is going to eat some steel. You know, I mean, I don't judge people what they eat. Everyone has their own taste, and Lairon likes to eat steel. Of course he does, right? He's a steel type Pokemon. So as you can see, it's from the Twilight Masquerade set, which is a fantastically strong set. Of course, we've got the Greninja EX from there headlining that set. We've also got the Eevee, which is my personal favorite from that set. There's Carmine, and there's many more. So Lairon here, rising really nicely. It was at its lowest here, only $1.60, right? But with the surge of the illustration rare cards from Scarlet and Violet era, they're all starting to pick up and take off. And as you see, this is still just under $5, thankfully, for the sake of this video. But a very beautiful card. I love Lairon here in his element. Love the look of this card. Fantastic set, and it only bodes well for the future. I do think this card could easily be a $10, $15 card in the future, but simply just a fantastic addition to your collection. Moving on to number 3. Yes, we're in the top 3 now, guys. Now, as you all know, if you've been here before, we know there's no real order, but I do try and save the better cards to the end. And I love the art style of this Meditite card. Meditite trying to meditate in the vines of a tree, but being disturbed by what looks like Chatot in the background flying around, probably making a hell of a noise. Poor Meditite. That's a shame. But I love the art style of this card. I love the colors. As you can see, from the browns and the greens and even the red and the blues in there. Just a fantastic mixture and plethora of beautiful colors. And I love the art style of the card. Now, as you can see, whew, that's close, right? It just creeps under that $5 mark. Despite the recent surge, it risen by over 100%. Was at its lowest only a couple dollars. Again, as we know, illustration rare's really taken off. Did rise to over $5, but thankfully just snuck under for the sake of this video. Thank you very much, Meditite. From, again, a strong Stellar Crown set. We looked at another card from Stellar Crown earlier. Relatively new, probably will get a reprint this year at some point. Therefore, prices of cards and steel product might stagnate a little bit, might plateau a little bit. But in general, in the future, with Stellar Crown being a relatively strong set, having some strong cards such as this Meditite here, this illustration rare, bodes well for the future and will probably be a $10 card in the future. Meditite being an earlier generation Pokemon, Gen 3 to be specific, strong Pokemon, and a fantastic addition to your collection. Now moving on to my number 2 spot, and this is where we get a little bit, it's a bit dubious, right? I get it if you're going to be a bit aggrieved, a bit annoyed. It's okay, guys. What I'm referring to, if you weren't here earlier when I was talking about the Cutie Fly and the Vivillon cards, was that my number 2 spot wasn't quite under $5. Now, as you can see here, it sits at $5.12. Yes, I know, guys. I get it if you're annoyed. That's okay. If you really don't want to include this card because it's over $5 and we want to stick to the rules, we'll use this Vivillon card here, which is $4.50. Anyway, Larvitar, at the time of recording a few days ago, guys, was under $5. I promise you. As you can see here, look. Feb 6th, Feb 8th, $4.90. I hope you guys can find it in your hearts to forgive me. Anyway, Larvitar from Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames are a very strong set, actually. Starting to get a lot more love recently. Bit of a slept on set. Didn't get its flowers earlier on. Now it's starting to, and I'm glad it is. It's got this Larvitar card. It's got the Houndour card. It's got that Ninetales card, which I love. Beautiful card, right? Beautiful card in general, right? I love this Larvitar card. I really do. I think it's a fantastic looking card from a very strong evolution line, as we know, from the earlier generations. Pupitar and Tyranitar being the evolutions. Everyone loves Tyranitar, right? Fantastic card. Very, very strong Pokemon. Therefore, I'm very happy Larvitar is getting its flowers. As I think it deserves, it should, right? So, sitting at around $5. Yes, just over. That's okay. I still think for that price, it's a fantastic addition to your collection and will one day be a $10, $15 card, as it's a beautiful card and a very desirable Pokemon. Moving on to our number 1 spot, and I have Lugia V from Silver Tempest. Now, I'm going to wind a lot of you up. I'm going to annoy quite a lot of you, I'm sure of that, but hear me out. Please hear me out, okay? We all know Silver Tempest is famous for a Lugia V card, and it's not this one, right? It's this one right here, the alternate full art, the one that goes for all the money. It's almost $300, but listen to me, right? This card, to the untrained eye, someone who doesn't know about this card or hasn't seen it before from a distance, probably can't work out what's going on in this card. They just see kind of a big dark shadow in the sky, perhaps, and probably not too sure what's going on. Don't get me wrong, I love this card. It's fantastic. It's beautiful, okay? I really do like it. But I want to see Lugia for what Lugia is, right? And as you can see here, what is Lugia? What do we know Lugia for? What it's famous for? That sort of crystal white body with that blue underbelly and those blue kind of not ears, are they? Almost look like ears, the coverings on the eye. That's Lugia, right? And you can clearly see that in this card. With this one, you can't see that, okay? That's why I actually prefer the artwork from this card. This was the alternate full art alongside this one, I generally think this one would go for more money than that one. I generally believe that, okay? But that's not the case, so it is what it is. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of this card. I love the artwork. So the fact you can still get a Lugia V ultra rare card from Silver Tempest for under $5, you can't go wrong there, right? Lugia, an all-timer, a legendary Pokemon, a fan favorite, has a massive amount of pull. It's up there with Umbreon and Charizard and Pikachu in terms of pull. It really is a fantastic Pokemon. And I love the art on this card. The way it's majestically leaping out the water, crying out. I love it. Fantastic card, right? As you can see, up and down, it's probably not going to rise too much in the future. Maybe in a few years, it will be a $10, $15 card. I mean, I just think it's a fantastic pickup for under $5, right? You can't really go wrong with that. You're getting a Lugia card, a Lugia V card from a strong Silver Tempest set for under $5. Pick it up while you can, guys, for such a cheap price. Add it to your collection. I have, and I recommend you guys do as well. Now, that does conclude my list for today, guys. As you can see, as they all float around me, you can see just how beautiful they look next to each other. All fantastic additions to your collection. I recommend you pick them up. They're all less than $5, bar one. I get it, okay. But they're all around $5, therefore very cheap. And if you're on a budget, very great pickups for your collection. Now, guys, let me know in the comments down below. Perhaps you didn't agree with some of these. Perhaps you don't like the artwork. Perhaps you don't, I don't know, agree with some of my opinions. That's absolutely fine. As per usual, we can talk it over in the comments. So let me know down below just what you guys think. Now, that does conclude today's video, guys. So as per usual, just a massive thank you to all of you for watching. I do enjoy making these videos. They're very fun to make. So therefore, I really appreciate you guys showing the support on these videos. If you are new here, guys, as per usual, please feel free to hit that subscribe button above me and also leave a like if you did enjoy the video, as it really does help me out. Guys, if you haven't caught up on my 10 and under series, you can watch a couple of them videos right there. But apart from that, as always, thank you for watching. I've been Pokechala, and I'll catch you in the next one.